Hey everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do a quick reading on whether or not you ever cross the mind of your love interest, so the person that you're thinking of when you are watching this video. So that can be for anybody that's in a soul-based connection, soulmate, twin flame, karmic relationship, whatever label you like to use. So, yeah, that's what it's going to be. If you want to book a private reading, you can do so by clicking the link below. I also have an option that I just added, which is pay what you can. And there's a range of prices available for people who might have a limited budget, or the currency transfer from various countries might be different. So if you want to avail yourself of that, then by all means head over to the community tab, and the instructions on how to do that are there. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. May these messages inspire, encourage, and help each individual transform and ascend. And so it is. So I just feel led to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and spray this spray, kind of charge the energy. This is the Universe Juice by the Starry Cauldron. If you would like to avail yourself of that, I'll post the link in the comments. So, that stuff smells so amazing. All right, let's go ahead. Let's look at the first question is, do they miss you? Interesting. So we've got the Five of Cups, which is a card of loss. This is a card of somebody who, in the traditional tarot, this is a card of the person is standing with they're wearing a robe and looking at the three cups that are knocked over and not seeing the two cups that remain standing in the background. So this is somebody who is crying over spilled milk, so to speak. So just seeing this sense loss immediately comes up, that yes, they are missing you. The person that you're thinking of is missing you. They think of you. They feel this loss. They feel this, and it feels like an intensity. There's an intensity to the grief and the loss that they feel about this. Even if they were the ones who cut ties or who moved on or who, walked away from the connection, they're still feeling a sense of loss. They're still feeling the weight of your absence, which in many ways is actually a really good thing, because if somebody is not, I've said this before, but if somebody is not appreciating the gift of your presence, let them feel the weight of your absence. And sometimes that's what people need to get their shit together, is to have that sense of loss, to have that sense of grief, to realize, I can't continue to live my life in the way that I've been living it if I want to create different results. So sometimes people have to go through that dark night of the soul. They have to go through those deep, painful transformations in order to be able to make the decision to change their behavior. And that's what this is. There's a real sense of loss. They miss you when they think of you. There's I really am feeling this kind of gnawing sense of loss. So they may try to avoid thinking about you. They may try to avoid even pondering this connection, because the intensity of the loss is so great. So what is it that they want you to know? The Five of Pentacles. It's interesting. This is a card of this card as it's written on this deck. Oh, this deck, by the way, is the Next World Tarot by Christy C. Road. But this card is being left out in the cold. This card is in the traditional tarot, it's about being left out. In this particular deck, it's described as turmoil. What they want you to know is that, yeah, everything might look great on the surface. If you see them, if you cross paths with them, if you are friends on social media, they may be like, everything looks great, everything looks awesome on the surface, but underneath it all, there is a lot of turmoil. They may not be showing that to you. They may be trying to hide that, but there is definitely some turmoil. They feel, it's interesting because when I'm getting this dual message, which is, even if they're the ones that left you in the cold and left you, kind of created that sense where maybe they blocked you, or they ghosted you, or they just stopped talking to you, I guess that would be ghosting, or they broke up with you for whatever reason, You feel like left out in the cold, but they also feel left out in the cold. They feel like they abandoned themselves, like they abandoned their purpose, their higher calling. They went the easy route, the path of least resistance, instead of facing their shit and rising above and integrating and growing. And it's causing this sense of turmoil. They might have left the situation thinking that it would be easier, thinking, if I just go away from this connection, it's going to be easier, it's going to be fine, I don't have to worry about it anymore, I'm just going to move on, go about my life. And then here they are, still experiencing turmoil, still experiencing all of this this crap that they thought was going to go away. And now they might be starting to understand that everywhere you go, you're still there. And if you haven't done your work, and if you haven't done your own healing process, you're going to continue creating the same results. And so at a certain point, you have to look at yourself and kind of take the wisdom of Dr. Phil, who I'm not a fan of, but I like this statement that he says, which is, how is that working out for you? So right now, it's almost like they're having this conversation with themselves about the turmoil that they're experiencing, the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. And they're like, how is this working out for you? At what point do you make a different decision and go in a different direction? So what is it that's holding them back? Interesting. The Seven of Swords. Okay, this is a card of somebody who escapes. Every time I see escape, I think of that movie, Finding Nemo. Escape. This is a card of somebody who sneaks off. This is not an energy of somebody who is willing to face their face situations, have confrontation, deal with things head on. This is somebody, the way that this card is depicted in the traditional tarot is somebody who is carrying 5 swords, and they're like, they look like they're wearing somebody else's clothes. They just look like a thief. This is somebody who is not honest, who is deceptive, who takes, someone who comes in like a thief in the night and then bails and goes on their own way. This is someone who likes to dip in your awesome sauce and then dip out when it gets too intense. And they know that. Okay, so part of what's holding them back is that they know that. They know that they did not act right. They had not taken their act right pill, and they didn't behave well. And they're aware of it, and it's almost like I'm getting the sense of embarrassment or shame, that there's this real deep sense of, I should not have behaved in that way, and I'm embarrassed about my behavior. I'm kind of ashamed of how I treated you or how I acted. And so it's easier just to stay away. It's easier to just let my shame and my fear and my embarrassment hold me back from coming forward than it is to acknowledge, that I really messed up here, and to acknowledge my failures and my flaws. For a lot of people, what I really get pretty clearly for the people that I'm channeling is that sometimes people block connections with other people because you mirror back to them things about themselves that they don't like to see. I'm not sitting here trying to say that you person who's listening is perfect, because we all have our own shit and we all have our own stuff to work out. But sometimes the intensity of these types of connections can be so big and so real that it shines a spotlight into our darkest places, and we're just not ready to deal with it. And that feels like part of what might be happening. Part of what's holding them back is they're really freaking ashamed about how they treated you or how they behaved, or maybe what they did, how they engaged, if they lied or were deceptive, or took things without it's not saying like taking things, but if they did things that, like, I believe that when you lie to people, okay, that when you create a situation with somebody that, had they known all of the information, they would not have gotten into that. I feel like that's a theft of agency. And so I often talk about this, that when you lie to somebody and they make decisions, life decisions based on what you've told them, the conditions that you've played or placed in their life, that you've said, this is what's going on, X, Y, and Z. And so they make decisions based on that. And then you find out later that what you were basing your decision on wasn't accurate information. That is a theft of agency. That's a theft of somebody's freedom. That's why I have such strong feelings about people that lie, because you're taking away somebody's freedom to choose their life. So for instance, if you're in a relationship with somebody and or in a connection with somebody, and they're telling you, well, yeah, I'm not like, I'm divorced, or I'm not with this person, or I'm not in a relationship, or, they're giving you this scenario, and you make a decision to get involved with them or to stay involved with them, only to find out down the road that what they told you wasn't true. They've stolen your freedom. They've stolen your agency, because you may not have made the same decision had you had the full information. And so what I'm getting from this is that the people that I'm channeling right now, they know that. They know that they took some of your agency. They know that they didn't behave well. And part of what's holding them back is just the shame and embarrassment and the guilt about knowing that, and also not really wanting to face it. So do they want to reunite with you? So we have Three of Pentacles here. So this is interesting, because this is about teamwork. This is about collaboration. So I feel like in many ways that there is this energy of wanting to come back and have that kind of collaboration. Maybe you were working together, or were doing projects together, or you had dreams together. Maybe you had some kind of shared mission and shared purpose. And there's this longing to come back to that, to work together. They may be realizing at this point just how dynamic that connection was, and they're thinking, gosh, I'd really like to go back to that. I'd like to go back to this community, this energy of where there was all this like powerful sparks of energy and creativity. Because when you get two people, or a handful of people, but specifically to this connection, if you get two people who have a shared vision, a shared mission, and put them together, it creates a separate third energy that's really powerful, and it can't be recreated with other people or other energies. And it feels like they're recognizing that. They might have gone off and tried to recreate that with other people. They might have gone off and tried to see if they could manage to bring that out again. And they're starting to understand that without this connection, without the dynamic connection between the two, that it's just not happening. It's just not something you can replicate. And so I do get this energy of wanting to reunite, wanting to collaborate, wanting to come back into that kind of teamwork energy where you're working together, moving together, looking for people, creating a community and an environment where other people can also join and be inspired and create more teamwork and continuing to carry forward your mission. So that's really interesting energies. So what are their fears right now? The Knight of Cups. Wow. That is a love offer. That's like extending their cup of love to you and being like, hey, you want a sip? So what they're most afraid of right now is making that offer, coming back and being like, maybe you want to take a sip of this love potion here. They're afraid of that. They're afraid to come back and to offer that to you, and to sing this love song, to move forward with this offer of love, because it's vulnerable. Okay, it requires a vulnerability. When you open your heart to somebody, when you extend an offer of love, when you embrace somebody or want to embrace somebody and extend this, you open yourself, you create the opportunity for you to be rejected. And so part of what they're afraid of right now is that if they come back and say, hey, I'd like to give this another shot, or extending an offer, maybe even just an olive branch, not necessarily an offer of love, not necessarily coming back and being like, let's elope tomorrow, but really opening that door again. They're afraid that you might just slam it shut in their face, that you might be like, you know what, before you made this decision, I told you that this was going to happen. I told you that you were going to come back and that you were going to want to work things out and that you were going to realize how much you screwed up. But you know what? I've moved on. I found somebody else. I'm in another relationship. I'm in another connection. So those are their fears. Their fears are that they're going to come back, open up, and that you're going to be like, no, man, that ship sailed. Like, peace out. You've got to be kidding me. That's kind of their energy, is that they're afraid that that's going to be your response, that you're not going to be open to them coming back into your life, coming back into your energy field, and that you're just going to slam the door in their face, and then they're going to feel rejected and stupid and diminished and all of those things. So that's really their biggest fear right now. And so what are their regrets? Holy cow. This reading is freaking awesome. I keep getting goosebumps because it's like confirmation. Their biggest regrets is the Three of Swords. So this is particularly for anybody that there was a third party situation. So whether you were the third party or there was somebody that they cheated on you with or whatever was going on, what they're really, what I'm getting really clearly here is that they regret that. They regret that they hurt you. They know that they hurt you. They stabbed you in the back. I mean, these are some of the most painful cards in the tarot. They're really understanding that this pierced your heart, that they hurt you, that they really caused pain, that there was betrayal, that you, that they hurt you and they regret it. They know that they did. They may not have known it in the beginning. They may not have realized in the past just how much pain they caused. They might have diminished it and been like, I don't know why you're making such a big deal of it. It wasn't that huge of an issue, but here you are making it huge, making it significant. And now they're starting to understand that that they really caused a lot of pain, but it didn't just cause you pain, because when you hurt somebody else that you care about, it inadvertently or intentionally, there's a backlash. There's it hurts you, right? If you hurt somebody that you care about, even if you did it, the way that, lying, deceiving, that doesn't feel good, unless you're a sociopath, which, I'm not talking about here, but I'm talking about the average normal, emotionally, moderately to emotionally healthy person understands that causing someone that you care about pain is also painful. And so they're understanding that by doing what they did, the choices that they made, the decisions, the steps, how they behaved, not only caused you a lot of pain, it also caused them a lot of pain. And so they're still feeling this difficulty. They're still feeling this energy of, I caused hurt for people, to myself, to people I care about. Again, some people might be circling the drain with shame. But that is their biggest regret. They're really looking back. I'm getting right now that a lot of people are really reflecting and looking back and thinking, man, I wish I had done that differently, or here's how I would have done this differently if I had the opportunity. There is a lot of regret there, a lot of difficulty about facing themselves and the decisions that they made. So let's pull a card for what is the action that they're likely to take. The Five of Wands. So this is a card to me, how I'm reading this. I have another deck that shows this card as 5 dragons wrestling. And so I feel like this is saying that what they're most likely to do is continue to wrestle with this internal strife, that they're not necessarily going to reach or achieve a state of peace quite yet, because there's still some things that they need to work through. They still need to grapple with what they have done, with the energies that they've put out into the world, the way that they've conducted themselves. They still need to work through this internal strife, through the challenges that they have created for themselves and for others. And so they're not likely to take any direct action toward you in this situation at this point, because they still have this stuff to resolve. They still have to spend time resolving this energy of why they decided to go and do the things that they did. What is it about them, right? This is, when you're wrestling with yourself, where you're like, I have a certain belief system, but I did something that's against that belief system, and so now I have to grapple with why I did that. And so that's what they're doing right now. That's the energy that they are in, is continuing to try to work out what was it in me that created this situation. And so the final message I want to pull is advice from Spirit for you, listener. The sun, oh my gosh, this reading is freaking amazing. It's shine. Let your light shine, like that song, right? Remember from childhood, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let your light shine, okay? Don't diminish yourself. Don't wait. Just go out and just have this, the confidence of just let yourself be seen. Go shine, go dance, go live your life. Don't take things so seriously. Kind of lighten up a little bit. Not that there's not, I don't like to, when I always want to give the caveat, sometimes life is difficult. Sometimes life has hard things that we have to deal with. And so, we have to deal with that the way that we best can. But we don't have to be down and depressed and despondent about it. We can really try to manage those energies and go with what's present, the suffering, the difficulties, the hard times, being present to it. and also maintaining a sense of joy around the beauty of being alive and what it means to be a human and all of this great, wonderful aspects of really being alive. But this is about, giving yourself permission to shine and let yourself manifest the future that you want to create. It's positive. It's like really being in a positive state of mind, trying not to let what happened in the past hold you back, but really moving on, integrating the lessons, and opening your heart, really opening your heart space and living from your truth and the juiciness of being you, instead of feeling like you need to live your life on pause or being depressed or being despondent about things that you have no control over. I really get that this is saying, let yourself shine. Find the positive aspects. Spirit is saying there's so much greatness and so much goodness that's available. Don't waste any more time looking back on things that didn't work out or how things worked out. This person that you're listening for, they're on their own path, and they're going to have to work out what they need to work out in their own way. This isn't going to be, something you can fix. It's not something that you can carry. They're going to have to do their own work and learn their own lessons and come to terms with what they need to come to terms with. And in the meantime, Spirit's like, just go about your life, live your best life, whatever that looks like for you. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself, find the things that give you passion and go pursue that. Don't stay stuck. Just continue to live one day at a time. And it doesn't mean that you have to, immediately, like when I say this, that you're immediately just going to not feel anything about it. That's not accurate. Of course, there's always feelings, but we have to remember that feelings, emotions are just energy in motion. They don't necessarily have to be the sum total truth. I mentioned this before, but when I went through a significant breakup a number of years ago, I made a conscious decision that I was like, okay, I'm tired of feeling shitty about this, and so I'm going to give myself permission to feel as crappy as I want to feel for X amount of time. And when that time is over, it's time to start picking myself up and moving on. And every day making a conscious choice to be happy. Literally getting up in the morning, brushing my teeth, and saying, I choose happiness. Today I choose happiness. And in the beginning I had to say I choose happiness 100 times, and then over time it became less, 50 times and then 20 times, and then suddenly I realized that I was happy again, and I had just consciously done the work and released and done the healing and forgiveness and all of that work. So that's what I'm saying here, is just make a conscious decision that at this point I'm moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and let myself shine and let myself feel and open my heart again and do the work that I need to do to create and manifest the future that I want to create in my life going forward. That's what Spirit wants you to do. No more being stuck, no more, sitting around waiting, because this person that you're listening for, they're on their own path. They're in their own process. They're going to have to do their own work and get to the place where they are ready to come back and have a conversation or face their stuff and do their work. And the reality is that some people never reach that point. Some people spend their entire lives circling the same mountains, doing the same thing over and over again. And so you don't want to spend your life waiting for someone to work through their internal conflict so they can come back towards you. So yeah, overall a really fantastic reading. I hope that it was beneficial. Please let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Bye.